चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांतो राधा कांतो नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम
हरे हरे
प्लीज रिपीट। हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम राम
once more। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे
हरे
हरे राम
राम
Thank you. Hare Krishna, very warm welcome to all of you. So today it's a very sunny day, and yeah, Vaishali is very happy about it, I think. So yeah, today we'll do a group activity maybe after 10-15 minutes. So I will just invoke some auspiciousness by just summarizing what we have discussed till now, and then we will start the activity. So we have started the second chapter, basically where Arjuna is keep on giving his reasons for not fighting, but now Krishna has intervened with his thought process, and Krishna is trying to remind Arjuna of his great lineage, how qualified he is, and if he doesn't fight, then it will bring infamy to his entire lineage. So that is one of the reasons which Krishna gives for Arjuna to fight. And we observed that Krishna is now performing a role of a coach, a friendly coach, where he is pointing out the uh, blind spots of Arjuna's consciousness. So that is the role of a coach, that he not only he gives emotional support, but he points out the blind spots which he is not able to see. So Arjuna till now was making all the arguments for not fighting on the material platform, on the dharmic platform. According to scriptures, he was giving various reasons. For example, who will perform the Shraddha ceremony after the end of the battle, and how will he enjoy after the end of the battle. So he is evaluating in terms of his own mind. So his the definition of success in his mind was different. So in Krishna consciousness, the definition of success is pleasure of Krishna, satisfaction of Krishna, serving the devotees, service of Krishna. That is the success. But Arjuna was saying that I will not be able to enjoy if I kill all my relatives. So that was his definition of success, that he should be able to enjoy after that event. And generally, that is the cause, right? Like we fight, we participate in an event so that some output is there, and expecting that output only, that gives us inspiration to do that event. And that was the case for Arjuna, and Arjuna was giving various reasons so as to justify that he is not giving having any inspiration to fight. So Arjuna, whatever reasons he gave, Krishna is pointing out these blind spots, that you are not considering your dharma, your varna. Your varna is Kshatriya varna, and if you don't fight, not only you will bring infamy to your lineage, but your Kshatriya order will also be blasphemed. And in later verses, we'll see in the second chapter, Krishna will tell that actually these opportunities come only to those who want to go to heavenly planets, who basically who are seeking that higher spiritual progress. And as we discussed in the last session, that So any kshatriya who dies on the battlefield, he achieves higher planets, and that is actually the goal of life: to elevate our consciousness and go towards higher planets, not stay on the not stay on the bhuloka or go into animal bodies. So there is a 14 planetary systems, and there is a like proper basically gradually elevating your consciousness. And when you can elevate your consciousness, you can go to heavenly planets like Janaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka. And then finally, once you get freed from the bodily conception of life, then you can go to the Vaikuntha Loka. There are Vaikuntha planets and Golok Vrindavan, which are the spiritual planets beyond these 14 planetary systems. So all these things Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, and we see that Arjuna ultimately basically surrenders to Krishna. He says, "Karpanya dosha pahat swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammuni cheta yachreya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham sadi mam tvam prapannam." So this is the seventh verse, and we can learn from this verse that although Arjuna is giving so many arguments, but he is not in a fighting spirit. He is not in a very, very challenging spirit. He is actually in a negative emotions, and he is trusting Krishna that Krishna will be able to help Arjuna. So that's why he's surrendering to Krishna totally through this seventh verse. And as we discussed, that this is actually the qualification of receiving the transcendental knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, that we have to surrender unto him, and then only he will be able to speak real transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, the friendly relationship will not work so much. If you really want to receive the spiritual knowledge and assimilate in your heart, you have to surrender. You have to take a menial, humble position, and then only that higher knowledge will descend from the mouth of the spiritual master to the heart of the disciple, and that will easily basically go inside in the form of sound vibration. And this sound vibration basically manifests in various forms. Once you hear from the spiritual master the sound vibration and take it into your heart, then basically when you vibrate the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that also becomes transcendental. So it is recommended to chant the holy name of the Lord while taking the shelter of the disciplic succession, while taking the shelter of a bona fide devotee. So that's why Arjuna is also surrendering in spite of his like so many arguments and analysis. He's surrendering to Krishna because he has trust in Krishna, and now he wants to be instructed by Krishna, because basically he is not able to find any solutions to whatever arguments he was giving, and Krishna is reminding him of his lineage, but Arjuna wants a deeper solution, and we'll see that how like Krishna will give solution to Arjuna on the spiritual platform. So let us read maybe one more verse. And this is the eighth verse. And one more important thing here is like to receive spiritual knowledge, one has to adopt the conceptions and ideas of our spiritual master, of our Shiksha Guru, and then we will be able to understand the spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, if we remain attached to the conception of our own happiness, then we will not be able to understand the spiritual things so much. And that's what basically Arjuna is submitting now, so that Krishna can change his conceptions. So this is the eighth verse basically. Nahi prapashyami mamapunudyat yachokam uchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhumo asapatnam ridam rajyam suranam api chadipatyam. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Yeah. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Sri Krishna. He could understand that his so called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence, and it was impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of a spiritual master like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc., are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kenanoy Ye Krishna Tattvaveta Say Guru Hai. So, in the last verse, we read in the purport that this material world is full of perplexities. And the most important problem which we want to solve is the problem of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Basically, the birth, aging, and disease and death. So these are the four problems which have to be solved, and which is the purpose of life actually. But nobody is looking at these problems. Generally, people are looking to increase the comforts of our life. They want to invent AC, and they want to invent cars, and they want to invent atom bombs. They want to go to moon. They want to travel to other planets to increase the comfort and conveniences of the material body. But actually this question is not asked, that why this body which is giving us so many troubles, which is we are falling diseased also, and we have to meet so many demands of the body also. We have to marry, we have to beget children, and then we have to eat so much. So many things have to taken care of because of the presence of this body. So this question is not asked, that who actually we are. Like, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And when we actually, by hearing from right sources, we understand that we are this spirit soul, then we understand that there is an eternal life which we have in relationship with Krishna. And when that relationship is revealed through the spiritual activities, then actually we can understand how to solve this problem of birth birth, death, old age, and disease. So that's why these activities, reading Bhagavad Gita and doing kirtan and taking prasadam, these are all like basic activities which brings us closer to the Vedic tradition of life. So these are the backbone of our Vedic tradition. So during our Vedic tradition, this used to be the it used to be agrarian economy, and morning and evening there used to be discussion about pastimes of Krishna. And people used to talk so much like about relationships. They used to give a lot of time to their families. So a lot of things were very, very smoothened out, because they did not have to bother so much about their occupational duty, because the varnashrama system was being followed very nicely. It was an agrarian economy, and brahmanas were qualified, so they were giving direction to kshatriyas how to administer, and they were giving direction to the farmers also how to basically what will happen, how is the weather going to be in next 6 months. So all these things were all aligned, and like everybody was able to understand their goal of life and proceed towards that. So that's why basically the progress towards our goal was automatically enabled by this setting up of varnashrama. But so, like, seeing all these things in the previous words, the perplexities of the material world increase when we go away from Vedic tradition, because Krishna has created this material world just to fulfill our own basically material desires. Because we wanted to rebel from Krishna in the spiritual world, that's why he created this material world. And now he also, along with the creation of the material world, he gave us Vedas and scriptures. He said, okay, just like a loving father says, okay, son, you want to rebel, you want to enjoy independently, you can go, and I will not interfere with your desire, but you can keep this for your protection, for the facilitation of your material desires. So just like that, Krishna is also giving this Vedas and the scriptures, so that we can enjoy the material world in a Krishna conscious way. We can fulfill our desires also, and after fulfillment of those desires, we can go back to Godhead, from where we are coming actually, but because of rebelling from Krishna. And but the more we go away from these the Vedic tradition, the scriptures, and the books, basically the Shastra, the more perplexities of life increase, because this so Bhagavad Gita is also called the manual of life. So we are given this body, and with this body we are given this manual of Bhagavad Gita. Just like when you buy a car or when you buy a mixie, there is a manual in which it is written that if you there is a list of do's and don'ts. So similarly in Bhagavad Gita also you will find a list of do's and don'ts, that how you can operate this body, yantra rudani maya. So this body is compared to a engine, actually, to a vehicle, and how you can operate this vehicle in order to make progress towards Krishna. So that is all uh, mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So the more we follow Bhagavad Gita, our material life will be blissful and full of satisfaction and contention, and we'll be able to experience a higher taste. But the more we move away from the Vedic life, the perplexities of material world will increase, as we are seeing these days. That there are viruses, and like one virus finishes, another virus starts, and the frequency of earthquakes have also increased. The sequencing of seasons is also disturbed. So all this is because the society is not following the Vedic principles. There is no varnashrama, there is no qualified brahmanas who can guide the society. So as we like start practicing this Krishna consciousness, we will get an insight that how we can live life in a Vedic manner very easily, and with a lot of contention and satisfaction of heart. So the foremost like duty of us to decrease the perplexities of life is to surrender unto some devotee, some higher devotee, spiritual master, and that's what was expedited in the previous verse. And now basically Arjuna is telling about the gravity of his heart, gravity of the emotions which he is feeling, so that Krishna can give us the solution. And basically, like Prabhupada is writing in the purport that everybody should do like this, that because everybody is faced with problems, so one should find a bona fide spiritual master and one should ask him that why am I facing this problem? Because every problem has a root, and we have to water the root, and then only basically that problem will go. Otherwise, if we just try to hide the problem or suppress the problem, then it will appear in some other part. Just like if you have a boil in your body, and you have to basically you went to an allopathic doctor, you took an allopathic medicine, then that boil might be cured, but after 1 week you might get some muscle pain or another boil. So the disease was not basically treated from the root. That was the reason. But if you go to Ayurvedic doctor might say that your blood is not sufficiently purified, so you should take this kashayam and purify your blood, and with that purification of blood, your boil is treated for eternity. Basically, permanently it is treated. So that's how basically Krishna consciousness gives the solution from the root. And that's why we should approach a bona fide spiritual master who can understand the nature of a disciple and guide him accordingly in progress towards Krishna. Okay, so yeah, let's read one more verse. संजय उवाच एवं मुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशं गुडाकेश परन्तप न योत्सयति गोविन्दाम् उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः. Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Yeah. Anybody wants to read? Um, okay, I'm not
I
present.
have a very poor connectivity, Rajat, so I'm dialing in from my phone.
Okay,
I'm
no
going to
problem.
try to dial back from my laptop again.
Yeah, Mummy, you want to read? Report.
Give me a minute. Uh, Purport. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, Parantapa. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated. Since Arjun would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end.
Hmm. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, this is a very important purport actually, because Dhritarashtra's hopes are totally shattered by Sanjaya's statement. Did anybody understand how, like, what is the explanation for this? Like, what was Dhritarashtra's hope and how it was shattered by Sanjaya's use of word Parantap?
Yes, actually, Hare Krishna. So Dhritarashtra wanted his sons like Kauravas to live on right, and their main enemies were Pandavas. So if by default one of the strongest warriors, if he's like giving up on his arms and he's not ready to fight,
Hmm.
like he's not ready to acknowledge his Parantapa or enemies as Kauravas, then definitely it's a plus point for Kauravas, right? So that's
Yeah,
why Dhritarashtra was happy.
that was the hope of Dhritarashtra. And
Yeah,
how was it shattered by Sanjaya's statement?
because he said कि मतलब मैं हाथ नहीं उठाऊंगा और वो मतलब निराश होके उन्होंने अपने शस्त्र डाल दिए थे बेसिकली.
Yeah, yeah. And Arjuna is addressed as chastiser of enemies. So Sanjaya is actually uh, shattering the hope of Dhritarashtra because Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna. So although Arjuna has basically shastra dal diye usne pure, but still Arjuna will make spiritual progress by hearing from Krishna now, and definitely Arjuna will kill all his enemies, will chastise all of his enemies. So this is the reasoning which Prabhupada is giving in this purport, that for sure, because Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna, there will be full victory for Arjuna. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. So there is a verse in 18th chapter that wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, there is lot of victory and lot of positive energy, auspiciousness. So that's what Prabhupada is saying, that Sanjaya is actually shattering all the hopes of Dhritarashtra. Thank you much. Okay. So this is also important verse. तमुवाच ऋषिकेश प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्तम् इदं वच. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Yeah, Tanusha, you want to read?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, please.
The talk was going on between intimate friends, namely Rikesha and Gudakesha. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became the student of the other. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone, and yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for the devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like a master, with gravity as it is required. It appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not only for the particular person, society, or community, but they are for all friends, enemies, and are equally entitled to hear them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Tanusha. Yeah, this is very important words because here Krishna is smiling. And generally, whenever you go to any temple, Krishna is smiling looking at you. Why? Because he knows everything, what is going on with you. He knows your thoughts, he knows your feelings, he knows your situation. What are you going to pray to him? So Krishna knows everything. That's why he's smiling that, oh, this devotee has come to me for praying about this thing, but I already know. So why does he need to pray? So Krishna smiles generally, and he wishes us best of luck by his smile. And in this case, Krishna is smiling because Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna. So this relationship has transformed from the relationship of friendship to a relationship of guru and shishya. So in the spiritual world also there are five types of relationships. So there is dasya servitorship, where you can just experience reciprocation of Krishna by serving Krishna. That is dasya. And then there is uh, Shantarasa. Shantarasa means, for example, if a flower is offered to Krishna, so that flower is in Shantarasa. He is not, flower is not serving Krishna, but he is just offered at the lotus feet of Krishna. So he is experiencing bliss in that way. So that is Shantarasa. Passive, in the passive mode, basically not actively serving Krishna. And then the third one is Sakhya. So in which Arjuna is actually when he is in the Mahabharata. So he is having a friendly relationship with Krishna, and he is joking, he is kidding with him, he is speaking joyfully. Sometimes he puts hand on the shoulders of Krishna. So like this, they are joking with each other and they have a friendly relationship and they mock on each other. So this is Sakhya, just like the cowherds of Vrindavan, like Sridama, Subala, and other cowherd boys also. And then after Sakhya Rasa, there is Vatsalya Rasa. Vatsalya Rasa is you can serve Krishna in parental form, just like Vasudev Devki or Nanda Maharaj or Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. So they became parents because they had done so many pious activities in their previous life, bhakti activities. Because of their high amount of pious activities, they got this opportunity to become parents of Krishna. So that is Vatsalya Rasa. And the finally is Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya Rasa means in conjugal love you can serve Krishna, just like gopis are serving Krishna in Vrindavan. So here you can see that there is this rasa transformation happening from the Sakhya Rasa to Dasya Rasa. So Arjuna is transforming his position from a friend to a disciple. So that's why Krishna is smiling, and Krishna is seeing his disciple. Okay, now he is ready to receive higher knowledge. Let us instruct him. Yeah, this is very interesting verse, famous. So let us read one more verse, then we'll take maybe a couple of questions and do the activity. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyananvasocastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhasase Gatasu Nagatasumscha Nanusochanti Pandita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Yeah. So, Vaishali, you want to read purport?
Yeah, sure, I can. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You're talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should have not posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him, there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very nicely written. Yeah, so खाली हाथ आए थे हम खाली हाथ जाएंगे बस प्यार के दो मीठे भूल जिल मिलाएंगे. So basically, we cannot carry this body with us to the next life, and we just have to imbibe this language of love. So, but there is no real love in this material world. Like every relationship is filled with lust only. Unless you bring Krishna in the picture, Krishna in the center, there is no actual love. And real love is on the platform of spirit. Basically, when you can experience higher taste, higher happiness, higher satisfaction, and contentment, that is actual love. And when all of us serve Krishna, when all of us discuss these matters of Krishna and share our realizations, then the nectar which we experience, that that nectar is actual love of Krishna. That is the mercy of Krishna which we experience in all of our hearts. Yeah, so all the devotees are doing this. Basically, the pure devotees. Machita matkat prana bodhayanta parasparam katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So they are discussing these topics of Krishna day and night, and they are relishing it. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So that is what our purpose should be. We should cultivate this attraction and this propensity of reading about Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita together, and sharing our realizations. Yeah, so I think whatever is mentioned by Prabhupada in this purport is we have discussed that like Arjuna is arguing on the lower platform and Krishna will bring him on the higher platform of matter and spirit, and how controller of both is Krishna. So as we should share our realization, so we will do a group activity where we can share our realizations. So any questions, or should we move to the activity?
We can move, Rajat.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll pause this.